Ah, Medusa! Hair a-wriggle with venomous serpents, each one more menacing than the last. Eyes that turn men to stone, freezing them in their tracks with just a glance. Truly the stuff of nightmares or a cracking good yarn, depending on your disposition and taste for the macabre. We know the image well, horrifying, monstrous, something to be feared and vanquished, a symbol of ultimate terror. Perseus, that strapping young hero, did just that, didn't he? A tale of bravery and cunning. With a well-aimed flick of the wrist and a shiny shield, down went Medusa, head lopped off in one swift motion. Job done, case closed, or is it? Perhaps there's more to this tale than meets the eye. You see, my dears, there's more to our Medusa than meets the, shall we say, petrified eye. A deeper story lies beneath. We often forget, amidst the snakes and the screaming, that Medusa wasn't always this way. She had a past, a life before the curse. This creature, this monster, was once a woman, a person with dreams and desires. A beautiful one at that. Her beauty was renowned, a sight to behold. And therein lies the rub. Beauty can be both a blessing and a curse. For Medusa's story is not just about monstrous transformations and heroic deeds. It's a tale of deeper significance. It's about beauty, betrayal, and the often cruel whims of the gods. The divine can be as capricious as they are powerful. It's about what happens when the monstrous and the human collide, when the lines between victim and villain become blurred, almost indistinguishable. So let us delve deeper, shall we? Let us explore the layers of this ancient myth. Let us peel back the layers of myth and legend, of fear and prejudice, and rediscover Medusa, see her in a new light, not as a monster to be slain, but as a woman wronged, a tragic figure in her own right, a figure of immense power, both terrifying and tragic. Her story is one of strength and sorrow. Let's look beyond the Gorgon's gaze and meet the woman behind the myth. Discover the true essence of Medusa. Our story begins, as these tales so often do, with the gods. The ancient Greek gods, with their immense power and capricious nature, often played pivotal roles in the lives of mortals. Medusa, you see, wasn't born a monster. She was once a mortal, a beautiful maiden who lived a life far removed from the monstrous image we now associate with her. She was one of the Gorgon sisters, daughters of primordial sea deities. These deities, ancient and powerful, gave birth to three unique daughters. Imagine, if you will, these three sisters, Athena, Euryale, and our Medusa. Each had their own distinct characteristics and roles in the mythological tapestry. Now, the sources on their exact appearance are a bit, how shall we say, fluid. Ancient texts and artworks offer varied depictions, leaving much to the imagination. Some depict them as always monstrous, others as beautiful maidens. This duality adds to the mystique and complexity of their story. What we do know is that Medusa was the only mortal one amongst them. This mortality set her apart, making her both vulnerable and unique. And she, dear viewers, possessed a beauty so captivating, so utterly radiant, it could launch 1,000 ships. Her beauty was legendary, drawing admiration and envy alike, or in Medusa's case, incur the wrath of a goddess. Her beauty, while a gift, also became her curse.
Enter Athena, the goddess of wisdom, warfare, and, rather conveniently for our story, crafts. Athena, with her sharp intellect and fierce sense of justice, played a crucial role in Medusa's transformation. Now, depending on which version you fancy, I either took offense at Medusa's beauty being compared to my own, a slight I could not ignore, or was, shall we say, put out by Poseidon's rather forceful affections towards Medusa in one of my temples. This act of desecration could not go unpunished. Whatever the reason, the result was the same punishment. A punishment that would forever alter Medusa's fate and form. And not just any punishment, oh no. In my infinite wisdom, I decided to transform Medusa into a hideous creature, a creature that would be feared and shunned by all. Gone were the flowing locks, replaced by a writhing mass of venomous serpents. Each snake, a symbol of her cursed fate. One look from her eyes, once so alluring, now turned men instantly to stone. Her gaze, once a source of admiration, became a weapon of petrification.
Imagine, for a moment, the utter horror of such a transformation. The sheer shock and disbelief that would accompany such a drastic change. To be robbed of your beauty, your very identity, in a single cruel act. It's a theft that goes beyond the physical, striking at the very core of one's self-worth and existence. Medusa, once admired, desired, was now feared, reviled. Her transformation was not just skin deep, it altered how the world saw her and how she saw herself. She became a monster in the eyes of the world, banished to the farthest corners of the earth. Her isolation was both physical and emotional, a punishment that extended beyond her appearance. Her own reflection, once a source of pride, now brought only despair. The mirror, a once friendly companion, became a cruel reminder of her cursed fate. This, dear viewers, is where the real tragedy of Medusa lies. Not in her monstrous form, but in the profound isolation and despair it brought. The loneliness that consumed her was far more devastating than her physical transformation, not in her monstrous form, but in the profound isolation and despair it brought. The darkness that surrounded her was a reflection of her inner turmoil. You see, Medusa's story is not just about the physical transformation, but also the emotional and psychological one. Her tale is a poignant reminder of how deeply our identities are tied to our appearances. It speaks to the double-edged sword of beauty, the way it can be both a blessing and a curse. Beauty can elevate, but it can also isolate, making one a target for envy and malice. It highlights the dangers of objectification, of reducing someone to their physical attributes, be it their beauty or their monstrousness. This objectification strips away the humanity of the individual, leaving only a shell of their true self. Medusa becomes a symbol of what happens when we lose sight of the human behind the image, when fear and prejudice cloud our judgment. Her story is a cautionary tale about the perils of superficiality and the importance of seeing beyond the surface.